Alrighty, it's April 15th, always a fun day, and I just wrote a blog article about, I'm not from Minnesota, but it comes out sometimes. So this is kind of a cool article. We trade GAN a little differently than a typical GAN trader. Obviously, we use the principles of it, but we use more of a square version of it. And you can kind of see, I wrote a cool article about this, and then what the strength of the strategy, the pitfalls of the strategy, and some of the best confirmation tools available to help us be the best GAN traders as possible, so we can maximize our edge. And the biggest thing is why we trade at the GAN levels, right? That is the question. There's the 1 hour, 15-minute, 4 hour. There's different data points you can choose, and I like the daily because price respects the daily because it's like a focal point for the market psychology, and there's a lot of institutional activity there, and there's a lot of geometric price structure there, especially in the high liquidity market like NQ, like we trade every day. So if we break this down, daily GAN levels, like the ones right here, right, are derived from a significant highs and lows over a 72 bar look back on the daily time frame. So it's split into geometric ratios. So for example, 18 by 144 and 36 by 144. And so these levels aren't arbitrary. They reflect a natural price division that traders, especially in the institutional world, tend to watch. So NQ is heavily traded by big players, as we all know, and these levels are often aligned with areas where these large orders are placed. And so it creates a good support and resistance level for us retail traders to be aware of. So this is so nice about this indicator is it just automatically plots the daily, and you can switch it on the JATS lines with volume analysis. And you can see right now it's actually in the 4 hour. 4 hour acts is the same thing. Dailies are my favorite, honestly. So that's kind of funny. Actually, there's a daily right there. Oh, there you go. They're stacked. So that's pretty good. I love that. There is a daily right there. So anyway, that's pretty cool. But if you I apologize. This is actually a 4 hour too. That's funny. Well, either way, 4 hour. I do love the 4 hour, and so the daily actually is going to be down here. That's funny. Well, same concept, right? So that's funny. I do love the 4 hour too. That's the fun part of when you have so many dang charts. So down here is the 18488, and really the 4 hour is almost the same. I mean, it's not as strong, but there is lots of institutional traders at the 4 hour. So did I wait for all the? Ideally you're waiting for some confirmation, but I was just looking at price action overall, and even though I had it as a daily, but look at overnight. It came down through it. Ultimately, it bounced above it. Did basically a double bounce overnight, right here, right? And then price came up to the VWAP, came down, double top near the VWAP, and so then it failed to even get down to the 4 hour. Then we see how it kind of came up. Didn't get quite to the VWAP. By 3 o'clock in the morning, blew through the VWAP, and then you can see how it didn't even get to the up here, up to the daily. And then later on, it blew through the VWAP. And so when I was watching it this morning, hence why I got in this trade, came right down to this really strong support area where I felt like it was a good area to enter. And I didn't really wait for it. It's like just a dead cat bounce almost. It could have blown through. That's why I had a tight stop. And then as soon as it, I only took a little bit of heat, then ultimately it just bounced, and that's why my break even is just a little bit above it. As you can see, it's doing pretty well. And now we're heading right back to this VWAP, which I actually wrote an article about just earlier today. So one thing that I wanted to bring up too is that sometimes the self-fulfilling nature of GAN levels also play a big role. So these time frames give these levels at a macro significance. So, on a 2-minute intraday noise can be chaotic, as you can see I'm on a 2-minute chart. But when you're adding this level to 4-hour level, then it helps our short-term price action, because we know that NQ respects the 4-hour and the daily so much. And we know that it touched here before, like I mentioned. So historically, there was, it found balance here, right? So it just gives you confidence to know where these levels are, and the fact they're automatically plotted for you. Of course, nothing is ever foolproof, right? Things can just blow through a level. So I'm not saying every time price comes to a GAN line, you just fire away. Just again, this is all in context of prior history of the market coming down to this area and bouncing. So that just gave me confidence for a decent setup. You know what I mean? So